सूरज की पहली किरण के साथ दिन की शुरुआत कीजिए। सुबह का मंगल प्रभात आपको शुभ हो। सुबह सुबह हो खुशियों का मेला, ना लोगों की परवाह ना दुनिया का झमेला। पंछियों का संगीत हो और मौसम अलबेला। मुबारक हो आपको ये खूबसूरत सवेरा। हर सोमवार से लेकर शुक्रवार तक सुबह 6 से लेकर 9 बजे तक शामिल रहें रेडियो फिजी 2 पर हम सफर में रविंद्र सिंह के साथ।
Sophie.
And I'm Tix.
You can join us on The Breakfast Show
every weekday from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. right here on Today FM.
That's right. In this bulletin, teams activated for surveillance fight to stop dengue as Fiji records over 500 cases. Thousands of students apply for tertiary education loan scheme. And Indonesia promises help for Fiji elections. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Police have broken up a protest by PWD workers this morning who were terminated from work today. Police West spokesperson Naina Rangingia says the group were told they had other avenues through which they could raise their grievances. Rangingia says police visited them at Shirley Park where they had been protesting and asked them to leave. The PWD workers were given their termination letters last week. The Health Ministry has activated environmental teams to increase their surveillance in the fight to reduce the high number of increasing dengue cases. Chanel Sivan reports the new dengue strain first discovered in Papua New Guinea has now recorded over 500 cases in Fiji.
From January 1st to the 3rd, the Central Division recorded 109 confirmed cases for dengue, while the Western Division recorded 24 and the Northern Division recorded none. Acting National Advisor Communicable Diseases Dr. Mike Kama says the new strain dengue 3 was first flagged in Papua New Guinea.
It emerged from Papua New Guinea, PNG. It emerged from there in 2008. So it's that strain. That's how they actually flag it. When they do this kind of molecular testing, they flag it that its origin is from Papua New Guinea. This dengue virus has been circulating in the Pacific, not only in PNG, but it has circulated for a while. And then the problem is that it just knocked on our door just recently during the festive season last year.
The Greater Nasinu outside Suwa area recorded most of the cases.
Largely Makoi, around Naulu, and also in Vale Levu. Right down to Nepani area, up to Tamavua. Also affected is areas in Samambula and also around Rewanga. So these are the areas that are at where cases are emerging from at the moment, high numbers of cases.
Dr. Kama says classifying this as an outbreak won't help. What really matters is the proactive measures we take to protect our loved ones.
You call it an outbreak, whether you call it an epidemic, whether you describe it as a huge increase in numbers, doesn't change the fact that we have a dengue situation on hand. And the ministry is absolutely concerned, and so should be the communities. This is the thing that we are driving at. We can describe this any way we can, you know. The situation that we have on hand is one that is alarming, that we need to intervene.
Dr. Neil Sharma says it's the responsibility of people to clean up their communities and not just limit to their compound. According to the World Health Organization, the new strain of dengue, dengue 3, has not been seen in the region for the last 20 years. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The tertiary education loan scheme is attracting tremendous interest from students wishing to study at tertiary level. 5,000 students have already taken up this historical opportunity, with more turning up at Suvavo House to submit their loan applications for higher studies. Neelam Raj with the story.
Hundreds of students continue to line up daily at Suvavo House every morning to submit their application forms. TELS coordinator Sainimili Kamkamida says it hasn't been an easy task for the team to vet the applications because of the high level of interest.
We've received over 5,000 people coming in, queries, only, by in person, not including those who have been calling in and those who have been emailing us. So the response has been really overwhelming.
FBC News asked students and their parents on what they think of this initiative, which has been offered to all Fijian tertiary students for the first time in our country's history.
It is really good. It is a really good gift for the toppers, in fact, the ones who have scored above 300.
This is the first time ever any government has ever thought about this toppers scheme, and I'm very grateful to the government of the day.
And I guess it's very beneficial because a lot of us, we come from average families or poor families.
The TELS team is currently receiving applications for the topper scheme. Under this scheme, the government will grant full tertiary scholarship for certain courses to the top 600 school leavers. Other students who have completed Form 7 or foundation studies but do not qualify for topper scheme can take interest-free loans under the TELS scheme to cover their university fees.
Established to help those students who had completed Form 7, those who had completed foundation studies in 2013, and also those who intend to pursue their studies in 2014.
Applications for the topper scheme closes tomorrow, while the applications for the loan scheme will be open for some time. Applications can be submitted online at www.tslb.com.fj or can be dropped here in the capital city at the Suvavo House. Neelam Raj, FBC News.
The Indonesian government has committed $500,000 towards the establishment of an MSG regional police academy in Fiji. The funding was received by Defence Minister Choketani Dokanasinga from Indonesia's Security Minister Lieutenant General Lanjang Sulistiono, who commended the growth of strong relations between Fiji and Indonesia.
The Indonesian minister presented the check on behalf of his government this morning. Through an interpreter, he described Fiji as an old friend.
The relation between the government of Indonesia and the government of Fiji started in 1974. And afterward, the relation between the Fijian police and the Indonesian police is getting better and better. And we have a lot of programs between our two police institutions.
This one is quite significant because it's tailored to the memorandum of understanding that we have with the Indonesian government through the Ministry of Defense and the Fiji Police and the Indonesian National Police. This was realized in 2011.
Fiji and Indonesia have enjoyed bilateral relations for over 40 years. Today's visit by the Indonesian minister is the first at cooperation level.
This visit, it's the beginning of many things to come as we increase our relations with them and our cooperation with them. Noting the very areas, apart from the regional police academy, there are other areas in terms of policy.
The Indonesian government has confirmed its commitment to these in the future, particularly in the area of capacity building.
Especially between two police institutions in safeguarding security and so on.
The Indonesian delegation returns home tonight with promises for more assistance to the Fijian government, including substantial assistance towards elections. Mikalonga, FBC News.
The Indonesian government continues to take significant steps to improve its relationship with Fiji. It will now also assist our general elections this year. This was revealed by Indonesia's Security Minister Lieutenant General Lanjang Sulistiono in Suva today. Speaking through an interpreter, the general gave a brief outline of his government's intentions.
With regard to your election in September, in principle, we will help assist Fiji in cooperation between Fiji and Indonesia, but in terms of capacity building.
Identified our the needs, government needs, and I think they've taken that into account. And I hope that we'll see further development on that line.
Fiji will go to the polls in September. Coming up after the break, hundreds graduate from Fiji National University in Lautoka.
Bola, oya wasala bilawa. Do pata kia o mena diwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina varomboka. Kako ni valatana no musini sari na kai samarian dolo loma leone vani ni nau om gori ke de mena diwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina varomboka na Bula FM number 2 en sere.
Bula, I'm Wame. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Center Show with classic hits from the 70s as well as the 80s right here on Gold FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. 15 people are homeless today after their residence at Natua Housing in Sanganga was destroyed by fire early this morning. The house was fully engulfed when firefighters arrived. However, they managed to extinguish the blaze and prevent it from spreading to nearby homes. The family was sleeping when the fire began but managed to escape safely. An investigation is underway to determine the cause. NFA Chief Executive John O'Connor is urging the public to do fire safety checks before they go to sleep or leave their homes to reduce the incidence of residential fires. More than 600 students graduated from the Fiji National University's Boca campus today. It's the first ever graduation for its Certificate 3 in Commercial Agriculture and Bachelor of Education recipients. Christopher Chand reports.
These are our new teachers. Close to 580 have now received their qualifications to teach in primary and secondary schools.
Teachers, they have the ability to create a knowledge-based and analytical thinking society that can boost economic growth, create and develop state-of-the-art facilities, industries, employment, and the list is endless.
However, the highlight today is the graduation of agriculture students who will become our future commercial farmers.
A special financial package from the government, which includes package to purchase farm implements, to build houses, farm homes, as well as get land for the purpose of starting commercial ventures.
29-year-old Antonio Tupua graduated from USP with a Bachelor of Arts in 2007 and gave up a lucrative career to try his hands on farming.
It was an opportunity to do something that I had a passion to, and that was to set up my own business. My goal in the next 5 years was to establish one of the best farming business.
But more importantly, these students have accomplished years of hard work.
The tears are not coming out today. Maybe because of the gold medal, I'm very happy.
Experience for 3 years. We had encountered a lot of hardships, but I thank God at last we are finished our course.
Really looking forward to joining the school and improving the maths and science teaching field in secondary school.
Parents, my father, he's a farmer, and he worked really hard just to bring me up till here.
As one journey comes to an end, another begins for these graduates who will now aim to be observed into the workforce. And while there remains a huge interest in the field of teaching, enrollments for commercial agriculture are expected to grow. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Fiji will soon have new reproductive health units all throughout the country. The annual work plan for their establishment was signed in Suva today and is part of the Ministry of Women's program to reach out to women and empower them with the knowledge of reproductive health and sexuality. Erelia Nawandra reports.
A new reproductive health unit will be set up by the Ministry of Women in partnership with the United Nations Population Fund.
UNFPA will be working very closely with the ministry in 2014 on a project that has been specifically tailor-made to establish stations of access, train community facilitators, and the communities leaders, as well as resource the centers with the basic and required tools of reproductive health for the youths, young couples and men and women in the communities.
The ministry plans to work through its resource centers in rural areas to reach out to women.
We will be training agents, peer educators, who will also be agents for making available to young people the means to protect themselves if they are sexually active, and also making available to young people the information.
The UNFPA also handed over a new vehicle to the ministry today in an effort to improve reproductive health services for women and children.
This vehicle is a very small contribution. We will continue to support your efforts, also to support the training efforts the capacity building of this center, and also myself, I intend to visit some of the centers to see how the good work that is being done.
Dr. Luveni says the handover is another good example of how the United Nations is working closely with national and regional institutions in finding solutions for challenges that confront Fijians on a daily basis. Aurelia Nawandra, FBC News.
Sports now, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Up ahead, Ben Ryan lays out his plans for the next leg of the RB series. And the ever-active Jet Runners Club claim another first for one of its runners. These stories and more after the break.
आपकी शादी होने वाली है, 5 बच्चे होंगे। 5 हाय, मैं हूँ आपकी सहेली रेनू। सुनते रहिए मिर्च एफएम, मैं हूँ ना 9 से 12 बजे तक।
Nimbula methangu nimilote na isoro tumboa na makia umena rua kina ona na via kavi moniti kina vaka romboka rongo mena via sana kina viva ko barota kini ndreko malolo ena radio Fiji 1 na wongani via niano ngai na makia kina.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. Fiji Rugby Sevens coach Ben Ryan has hinted he will use the same strategy of ruthless attack and swarming defense for the Las Vegas and Wellington tournaments. It's never an easy task when you're drawn in a tough pool, but Ryan has a fair idea of what's needed to stake a claim for the title. Tsalendau Dakadaka has more.
There is no such thing as an easy pool in the IRB series nowadays. Teams that were once considered easy beats have stepped up their game. With Fiji drawn in a tough pool, Coach Ben Ryan is aware of the challenge that awaits them in Las Vegas.
Really tough. All the pools are tough. New Zealand is obviously the game that sticks out, but Australia, I'm sure, will want to have a go at us, having had a fairly wide margin of defeat against us last time we played them. And Scotland I know are a good side that keep the ball safe.
Fiji last took out the Las Vegas title in 2007. Ryan wants to employ the same game plan that earned them their first ever Dubai title.
I just got to concentrate on what we can do well, and that's make sure that we're clinical and ruthless in attack, and that in defence we get that swarming defence that worked so well in Dubai up and running very quickly in Vegas.
Ryan will cut his 23-member squad to 16 on Friday, with the final 12 to be named next Thursday. Tsalendo Dakavak, FBC Sports.
Veteran runner Bimlesh Kumar collected his second medal at the Oceania Cross Country Championships in Melbourne, Victoria yesterday. The 38-year-old won a silver medal in the 8-kilometer run, a step up from his bronze medal win in the 5-kilometer race on Monday. Kumar is the first Fijian athlete to win a medal in an international masters event. The Jet Runners Club in Nandi is overwhelmed by the achievement by one of their own, hailing it as not only a proud moment for the club, but for the country as a whole.
For Jet Runners Club, it is our biggest achievement ever. In 2 years' time, now we are into the third year, we can say that we are the flying jets of long distance running in Fiji.
Kumar has 2 more races to go in the championships, the triple chase event and the 3-kilometer run later this week. Meanwhile, tomorrow morning at 8:45, you can watch live coverage of Manchester City taking on West Ham in the first leg of the second semi-final. That's it from Sports Tonight. Good evening.
2013 has been declared a successful year for resorts along the Coral Coast. According to the Fiji Bureau of Statistics, the Coral Coast recorded the highest occupancy in Fiji during the third quarter of last year. Coral Coast Hoteliers Chair Peter Hopgood agrees with the numbers from the Bureau of Statistics, as resorts in the area have been slowly taking market share from Denarau. Hopgood says most resorts on the Coral Coast experienced increased occupancy and were able to yield their rates slightly higher. He says most of the resorts on the Coral Coast were very busy with weddings in the third quarter, and there was also an increase in visitors from New Zealand. Hopgood says major plans for the Coral Coast properties in 2014 include refurbishments and upgrades to retain the high standard of service and quality, which will cater for what is hoped to be another successful year. And it's time for the Weather Girl.
Thanks, Jackie. Looking at the map, Suv and Savasavu enjoyed some showers today. About to come up, there it is. I use the term enjoyed because in this heat, a nice rain bath, however short, would be instant bliss. Everyone else had sunshine today with just a touch of cloudiness in Lambasa. Now for a quick look at the temperature chart. Oh dear, Lambasa is on 34 degrees today. Not much difference elsewhere, with very warm temperatures taking over the country. Thankfully, the school holidays are still on, which could mean lots of last-minute swimming. It's another case of showers for the capital and the Hidden Paradise tomorrow. Frankly, I don't think anyone in these two centers will be complaining. A different story though for those of you in the west. The good news is you might not get rain tomorrow, but it will be cloudy in the afternoon. So that should give you some relief. Time to go, but first, here's a shot of an island near Coral. Not too sure of the name, but it was special enough to give you an aerial view.
Highlights of the news today. Teams activated for surveillance fight to stop dengue as Fiji records over 500 cases. Thousands of students apply for tertiary education loan scheme, and Indonesia promises help for Fiji elections. On to this week's poll question, we're asking, should the government fast-track its projects for 2014? Visit our FBC website to answer. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for tonight. Until tomorrow, good evening.
जहाँ हो प्यार का बसेरा और रिश्तों की खुशबू, वो है आपका अपना घर संसार. Join me on Ghar Sansar, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. only on Radio Fiji 2.
Now that's just another groove to kickstart your morning.
That's right. Good morning, Fiji. It's Gold FM bringing you the classic hits to fine-tune your mornings.
And Fina still trying to fine-tune her voice.
And as always, Pedali still trying to wake up.
Now this is where you'll find us every morning from Monday to Friday.
On Daybreak with Pedali and Fina from 6 to 9. Join us.